Hi guys, so today I just want to talk about the back flag. Now, this is an exercise that I think looks very impressive on any apparatus. It's also an exercise that I think is pretty obvious that if you get it wrong, you can cause harm to your body. Like, it is an advanced skill, and you are putting your arm and shoulder in what can be a compromising position if your body is not physically ready for that skill. Hi, my name is Verity. I am a strength and conditioning coach for aerialists, and I primarily teach online, supporting aerialists in achieving the skills that matter to them. I recently taught a workshop on the back flag at an aerial summit, and my goal really with that workshop was to make it as accessible as possible for somebody who is maybe interested in working towards this skill but doesn't yet have the strength, can't just chuck themselves into it and give it a go, which I definitely don't recommend with the back flag. And I wanted to make something that would actually give some education around, what is required from a mobility perspective, from a strength perspective, and basically just how you can get started, whatever your level. And I say whatever your level, really, I wouldn't recommend it for beginners, but intermediate to advanced aerialists, that's quite a broad range of abilities. And so you might be intermediate, but you might never have worked on any of the movements that would be helpful for a back flag, and therefore just not really have, the physical preparedness yet. And it's not because you've done anything wrong, it's just because you haven't trained for it yet. So I taught this workshop and I got a lot of really positive feedback about how it gave not just education around the skill itself, but really clear steps, drills that you can work on that are accessible. Um, and so in this video, I'm going to share just a couple of my favorite drills that I taught in the workshop. I've just taken the video and chopped it up a little bit, so that you can get started with a few exercises. And again, I think this is one of those skills where it looks so cool, it's obviously hard, and it's very difficult to find good quality information about the steps that you actually need to take in order to achieve it. So here I'm breaking down just a couple of movements that I think are really useful, and you can give them a try and see how you find them. Here, we've just done that 2-arm exercise. We're going to look at a single arm version. And so this, again, is to start to test individual sides of the body. I'm going to show you this from sitting, so just like I was for my swing set. But what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to reach one hand behind me, and I'm externally rotating the shoulder. So I am turning my hand like this, which is external rotation from my shoulder. So my thumb is facing directly behind me. And then from here, I'm going to lift my hips up, reach one arm over. So this is my 3-point bridge. And then I'm going to sit myself back down and do the other side. I'm pushing with the supporting arm, and I'm trying to look where my spare arm is going. So I'm almost thinking about trying to get my chest to face the ceiling. I don't want to be like this because then my shoulder isn't in the right position. So we're going to do 3 of these each side. So reaching up into my 3-point bridge, following the spare arm, and then the other side. And when we're doing this, one other thing to mention is you want your shoulder stacked on top of the wrist, so not here, but here.
Okay, nice. So hopefully we're feeling like shoulders and chest and a bit of upper back are starting to warm up and feel mobile and feel good. All right, one more drill that we're going to look at to prep for our back flag is going to be using a yoga block, and it's going to be a little bit of C-shaping on the floor. And so one of the things that I've found people struggle with is the glute and leg engagement with C-shaping positions. And so we're just going to work on this again in preparation for being in the air. So the movement that we are going to work on is C-shaping from lying on our fronts to lying on our side in an arch. So it's going to be a side bend and then rolling up into our arch. We are going to do this with the yoga block like so. So this is placed just below the bottom of my bum, and then my heel is pushing the yoga block into my leg. And so what I'm going to do here is lie on my front. I'm going to lift this leg off the floor so that this movement is driven by the glutes and the hips, and then I'm going to roll back onto my front. You might also feel with this like your hamstring is working quite hard because that's got to squeeze the block to keep it in place. But the goal with this is that glutes, posterior chain are working. So I'm going to side bend, lift the hip, and roll into an arch. And then we'll do this on the other side. So side bending, lifting the hip, and coming up into an arch. And then coming back down. So I definitely do use my hand to help push me up with this. The goal eventually would be to do it without that hand to help turn your body, but in terms of getting used to the exercise, it's completely fine to use that for help. So making my C, lifting the leg up and coming into my arch, and then coming back down. Nice. So you can play with that. You can take your time really understanding how to engage your muscles with this drill and see how that helps. So next we're going to look at moving into the air, or at least working with some form of apparatus. And again, these drills are very much to start to understand like the correct muscle engagement, the correct position that we're aiming for with the body. We're still not going to be doing our full back flag, but they are really great tools to help you safely and progressively get there. You'll probably know the exercise meat hook TikToks. We are going to work on a version of that, but for your back flag. And this is a really nice drill because you have full control over how much you move your body and how much you TikTok. But the starting position is going to help you to understand how you want to be engaging your muscles and having your body in the air for your back flag. So I'm going to be using my rings, and I'm going to come into a hang. So from here, I want to think about arching my back and bringing my legs slightly in front of the straps. I also want to think about rolling my right shoulder forwards as I start to side bend and arch my body around this arm. So I'm rolling the shoulder in, and then I come back to the hang. Again, on my left arm, I'm rolling the shoulder in as I side bend and arch around this arm. So you can see if I kept going, this is starting to look like I'm about to head into my back flag position. But obviously, while I was upside down, I only moved my body a little bit just to start to feel out the position. So it's really important that as I start to load one arm, that shoulder is pushing forwards and I'm thinking about rotating it in. It probably isn't going to feel like this because your hand is going to be in place gripping onto the equipment, but I'm basically just trying to stop this from happening. If I am really strong in this end range of motion, I can back flag in this position, but I think that it's a lot safer to learn it with the shoulder rolled in first and get confident in that position. So I'm going to demo this one more time, and I do think this exercise is easier if you are using split apparatus rather than a bar. If you're using a bar, your body needs to stay forwards of your hands the entire time, so you're kind of in this position, which is, it can feel a little bit harder to hold that, whereas if you've got split apparatus, you can start with your body directly between your arms. So that's just something to consider when you are working on this. So I'm going to invert, legs go up. I'm going to think about arching. I'm going to go to the right first. So I'm rolling my shoulder in as I side bend and arch around this arm, squeezing my glutes, pointing my toes, leg tension. And then I'm going to come back up and to the other side. So side bending and arching around my left arm, rolling the shoulder in and squeezing glutes. Nice. So you can give that a try.
Thank you so much for watching my video. I really hope you enjoyed it and I hope you found it helpful. I hope that you can see how there's a lot of different elements that go into the back flag. It's not as simple as just building single arm strength or just working on your C shaping or just making sure that you're mobile enough. Like, there are a lot of different moving parts to it, and working on these drills is a really good first step towards this skill. If you really enjoyed this and you want more, I have created a back flag blueprint program which basically takes you from the very foundations that you need for the back flag all the way to the full skill. This is only going to be available to purchase this month, so the month of August, and you can grab it by clicking the link in the description below. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you have any thoughts that you want to share, feel free to comment on this video, and please like and subscribe to follow for more. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.